Hi, Christina Courtney here, and we are going to talk a bit today about how to get back on track if you are kind of in a financial funk. So this would pertain to you if you've maybe increased your abundance, you've been working on letting in more money into your life, and for some reason you found yourself in a funk. Things just aren't flowing like they used to. You're not feeling positive about your abundance in your life, etc. So how do you get back on track? If you've already set that intention to let in more abundance, how do we get back on track once maybe things aren't looking so good or we haven't been as focused on it as we used to be? So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to reflect on what's going on, what happened. Was there something specific that happened that kind of derailed you, took you off track? Did you just, maybe you had a specific abundance practice and you stopped doing it? Maybe you let in a ton of money and kind of like your abundance thermostat setting was going up so high and you weren't feeling comfortable with that, or your subconscious wasn't feeling comfortable with that, and so you kind of have that boomerang effect where it goes down a little bit, and maybe you need to practice anchoring it higher again. What happened for you that caused this? Was there just a lot of changes at work? Maybe you got really distracted. It's really helpful when we can identify how we went off track, what happened, because then we can empower ourselves to make sure that we're making different choices moving forward. So the first thing is to kind of identify again what happened. And if you can't identify what happened, that's okay too. We'll just move on to the next step, which is to forgive yourself. This is so important. Probably the most important step is that once maybe we've let go a bit, maybe we've been overspending, or we didn't bring in as many clients, or something happened and we're not feeling as abundant, we often will blame ourselves and make ourselves wrong for not doing it right. And we will think that if we, punish ourselves or blame ourselves, that'll push us and motivate us to do better. But that is absolutely not true. It actually does the opposite, because when we're in that feeling of guilt and judgment, we're actually pushing away the abundance. We're not in that joyful receiver mode of letting it in. So we want to forgive ourselves. That is super, super important. So wherever you're at, whatever happened, maybe it was your fault, maybe you made some choices that weren't the best choices for you and for your life, we want to just have compassion with ourselves, forgive ourselves, and let it go. And when we do this, it's kind of like we reopen that energy to let it come back in again, to welcome it back in. So that is super, super important. And then after that, we're gonna wanna take actions that will help us get back on track and shift our vibration from money not working out for us to feeling that abundance again. Because we know that when you're feeling abundant, you're letting in the abundance, you're like welcoming it. So there's lots of things that we can do to welcome back in that abundance. And I wrote down a list of them, and I'm just gonna give you this list in case these are helpful. And I want you just to listen to them and see which ones resonate with you. Maybe all of them, maybe one or two of them, or maybe this may just listening to them will spark something in you where you're like, oh, there was this other thing that I was doing and that really helped me. I'm gonna go do that thing again. So here's the list. So the first thing is that we want to, when we're shifting back to love, love is the vibration of abundance and fear is the vibration of lack. So when we're in this vibration of fear or lack, or things aren't working out for us, we're in that vibration and we're attracting more of the same. So we want to shift to the other vibration, which is of love and abundance. So so that we can match up with that frequency and become a magnet for what we want. So some of the ways that we can do that, again, are through affirmations. That's a really great way. If you have some abundance affirmations that feel really good to you, that's an awesome way to kind of shift the energy from the old into the new. You can rewrite your money story. So all of us have a story with money. Most of us, money didn't work out for us, or maybe it didn't support us, or it wasn't there when we needed it. And so this can be a really powerful practice to rewrite your money story and actually write out how money did support you, how money has always been there for you when you really needed it, and shift the way that we're looking at it. Or even we can recognize that the times when money wasn't there for us, what was going on that's different than right now, and really rewriting our story so that we can feel good about letting in more money and matching the vibration of abundance, because you are supposed to be abundant. It is your birthright. So the next one is you can even write money a love letter. This is really fun and playful. Again, the more playful we are about it, the more lighthearted, the more we are again in that love vibration, which is going to be a magnet for it. So whenever we can be playful with it, that's really awesome. So you can even write a love letter, kind of if you were to imagine that money was a partner and you kind of had a fight, and you might, acknowledge your side of the story and forgive yourself, forgive them, and, confess your love and that you'd like to build this beautiful life together with money, and, kind of write this honeymoon version of how you would like your money story to go in this money love letter. And you can take full creative, you can do this however you want. There's no right or wrong way. So get creative and do what feels good for you. The whole point is to shift our energy back to the vibration of abundance and love. Another way you could do that is just listing. You can create a list of all the different ways that money's working for you, money's supporting you. You can look like maybe you work a 9-to-5 job, and you could say like, okay, money is always there regularly. I get a check regularly. Or, depending on what situation you're in, you can focus on how money has been there for you, what things are going good. Because oftentimes when we get in this funk energy, our focus immediately goes to what things are not going well, because that's the vibration that we're on. So we want to shift our focus to, okay, what things are going well, and be on that vibration instead. So even if there's just a couple of positive things that are going well for you in your abundance, we want to shift our focus to that. And I'm sure there's more than a couple. Maybe you have a roof over your head. Maybe you have a reliable car that you can drive. These are all symbols of abundance too, so get creative with it. The next way is you can tap out your stress, guilt, or judgment. If you're still feeling any anxiety or stress around money or judgment, it can be really helpful to use tapping as a technique to just release that and clean up your energy. You want your energy to be as clean and clear as possible. And that's why earlier we talked about how important it is to forgive. So whatever that means for you, I encourage you to tap on that. If you're not familiar with tapping, you can either check out another video where I talk about that, or you can just Google it, or even go to YouTube. The next resource that I wanted to mention is there's this gentleman named Brad Yates, and I love his tapping videos. If you've never done tapping before, you can go to YouTube and type in Brad Yates, and then whatever issue you're dealing with, maybe it's like money, stress, or whatnot, and some videos will pop up and you can just tap along with him and he will help clear some of the general ones. He also has some really great ones for building up your energy around being like a money magnet, letting in more clients, letting in more miracles. So he has tons of great free resources on YouTube where you can use tapping to shift your energy into what you would like it to be. So that is an awesome resource. You can also read different books. I have a really good friend of mine who does the abundance book. There's tons of different books out there. One of my personal favorites is I love Jen Sincero, and she has a book called You Are Badass at Making Money. She has great exercises in there, a lot of stuff that goes into a lot more detail than I have time in this short video to address. And so there's lots of exercises that you can do to really shift your energy in that book. And I know that there's just so many other resources resources like that. So picking something that resonates with you and you can use to help cultivate your practice of tuning into abundance. You can also watch The Secret. You've probably seen this movie before. If you haven't, it's a great film. It talks all about manifesting, law of attraction, and it really just, every time I watch it, it just bolsters my energy around that. So whenever I used to be in an abundance funk, I would turn it on in the background and listen to it in the background while I'm washing dishes or doing things around the house. And it really just, it kind of like rewired my brain from the background that I can have what I want, and I'm supposed to have what I want, and that my thoughts and where I'm focusing my energy is attracting to me what I'm experiencing in my life. So that's a great resource. You can also listen to Abraham on YouTube. You can listen to that in the background. You can also listen, she has a great abundance meditation. So if you type in on YouTube again, Abraham Hicks, and then financial freedom or finances or abundance vortex meditation, different either talks will come up, or there's this really good 15-minute meditation that she does, getting into the vortex of financial well-being, which is really good. So use all of, there's so many free resources that you at your fingertips that you can use to get back on track. The next one is you can count the money coming in. I find that this helps a lot more for people that are either independent contractors where their money will kind of fluctuate, or people like waitresses, you know, who can sometimes have bigger tips one night and less tips another night, where it's not as much consistency as the typical 9 to 5. So you can use this as a great tool to just kind of track the money coming in. And again, this shifts your focus. If you every night at the end of your shift, you're saying, I made $87 or $300 or $21, whatever it is, when you're tracking that and writing it down, you're putting your focus on, oh, money's coming in. This amount of money's coming in. This amount of money's coming in. And then the reticular activating system, that little part in the back of your brain, is going to look for more of that. How's more money coming in, and start attracting that to you. And so that's a really helpful way to refocus and get your mind excited and focusing on money coming in. And whatever we focus on is what we're attracting. So that attracts more money coming in. Another thing that's really important is facing your finances. Sometimes when people get into financial funks, they don't want to look at their finances. They will avoid opening their bills or checking their bank statements, creating a budget. And I just want to remind you that if you are in a financially abundant energy wavelength, you're going to feel excited about your finances. You're going to want to know what's going on with them, because then you can let more in. You can take charge of it. You can allocate things differently. And so if you're avoiding your finances, that means that you're in that lack energy and you're not feeling like you can have what you want. You're not feeling like you're in control of it. And oftentimes people won't want to look at their finances because either they feel a lot of guilt around it, which we want to know about. We want to bring it up so that we can release it. Or they feel like, okay, well, if I look at it, I may be making some financial decisions that are not so responsible and I'm going to have to change, and I don't want to change. So what I recommend in those situations is just look at it. Just take that first step to look at your finances, to see what's going on. And you can use whatever tools are helpful for you. I love tapping. So you can tap while you're going through it and looking at it. And this act alone of looking at it helps you take your power back and be in that driver's seat, and then you're in the abundance love vibration as opposed to in the lack victim, you know, things are happening to me, I'm not in control, I can't fix it, that energy. We want to move to the energy of what you want. And that just looking at your finances is such an important step in making that shift. The last thing on my list, although there's tons more options that you can look into, is to create a thermostat setting. I love this activity. Maybe I can find the document. If so, I'll leave it in a link below. But I love creating a financial thermostat and putting it on the wall. And so if I'm looking to increase the amount of money that I'm bringing in monthly or annually, etc., I love the idea of a financial thermostat on the wall. So just like we use thermostats to regulate the temperature in a room, we can turn the thermostat dial to 72 degrees. And then whenever it gets a little bit higher or a little bit lower, the thermostat will automatically adjust it to 72 degrees. And once we set it to 72 degrees, say we get home and it's 65 degrees, if we've turned it on and we can see that it's set to 72, we can just walk away and not worry about it. We just know that it's gonna go up to 72 degrees. Without us even needing to do much or pay attention to it. It just happens automatically. So we can do this with our finances. So I love setting a new thermostat setting. So you can either draw out a thermostat or whatnot and write in the number that you would like your new thermostat setting to be at. Put that on that wall and it starts to reprogram your brain. It's like, oh, okay, this is the amount of money that we're expecting to let in every month. This is our new thermostat setting. So that's a really helpful, awesome tool that incorporates also the visual aspect of seeing it on the wall, which I love. So those are a list of a lot of different options that you can use. And again, I'm sure there's tons more options. If you have any options that you love that I didn't mention, please list them down below. And if any of these resonated with you and you're ready to get back in the flow of abundance and you want to commit to doing one of these, go ahead and comment. What are you going to do? What's resonating for you? How are you going to shift your energy from whatever funk you've been in, whatever lack was going on, back to abundance? And I want you to know that I support you. I'm so proud of you for making this step, because you stepping into your abundance serves everybody around you. You have more money to give, you have more money to enjoy your life, and you being happy and enjoying your life and feeling vibrantly abundant just benefits everybody. And it's your birthright. You're supposed to be abundant. So just know that I am cheering you on, and I'm so proud of you for making this shift. And I love you very much. And until next time, bye-bye.